Welcome back to the Wardrobe of Will. In today's video, we're going to be updating my Teclis Warscroll review to match his 3rd edition Battle Tome's new Warscroll. Teclis is a fantastic unit, and in his previous iteration, he was almost 100% necessary to play a Lumineth castle to its maximum potential. I would say that role is still mostly there in the current Lumineth book, but with other kind of consolidations around the Lumineth core rules and such, he's not 100% necessary, but he's still really, really good to have. And so let's dive into it. Archmage Teclis and his wonderful cat Selenar come in at 700 points exact. They have a 10-inch move, 10 bravery, 16 wounds, and a 4-up save. They have a odd way of casting that we will talk about once we get to the unique abilities. Teclis has 2 melee profiles, the Sword of Teclis, 1-inch reach, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, 2s to wound, 3 rend, d3 damage. The Moonbright Talons, 1-inch reach, a degrading chart for attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 2 rend, 2 damage. For missile profiles, they have the Luminar Staff, an 18-inch reach, 1 attack, 2s to hit, 2s to wound, 2 rend, d6 damage. For unique spells, he has 2. Storm of Searing White Light, 18-inch reach, 10 casting value. Don't worry about the casting value, it's weird. And you roll a dice for each enemy unit within range. On a 1, nothing happens. 2 to 4, d3 mortal wounds. 5 up is a d6. Then they have Protection of Teclis, 18-inch reach, and again a 10 casting value. It's an 18-inch aura of a 5+ ward. It cannot be cast in the same phase as Protection of Haish. For unique abilities, Teclis has a odd way to determine how many spells they're going to cast. At the beginning of your hero phase, you are going to say how many spells Teclis is going to cast. It is determined by how many wounds they've suffered for what options you have. You can cast 1 spell that cannot be unbound and is auto-cast with a 12 casting value. You can cast 2 spells with a 12 casting value, but they can be unbound. And then you can cast up to 4 spells that are auto-cast with a 10 CV, but can be unbound. Teclis gives a +1 to casting Unbind and Dispelling for Lumineth within the aura of Selenar. Keep in mind that this +1 does not apply to himself because his casting values cannot be modified. So that is important to know. Once per hero phase, in your hero phase, Teclis can auto-unbind 1 endless spell, and there is a 4+ spell ignore for Lumineth within range of the Selenor's aura. If you successfully ignore a spell within range, you can pick one enemy within 18 of the affected unit, and they suffer d3 mortal wounds, kind of like a spell bounce back, you can think of it. Teclis in his new iteration is very, very similar to his old one. It's just a lot of consolidation, and really all you're going to be looking for is these unique spells. Protection of Teclis, phenomenal. Searing White Light, just massive area of effect damage. And the buffs and general force multiplication of Teclis in the aura of Selenar is really what you're taking him for. But we'll get more into that on the next slide. As is expected for the Order's version of the God of Magic and Knowledge, Teclis is all about magic, magic, and more magic. He is going to be the center of a optimal Lumineth castle. You want to bubble wrap him essentially, as he is not the best melee or ranged combatant. Sure, he can do a little bit of damage, but it's not really his main focus. Your job is going to be protecting Teclis so he can do his spells and give out his auras for the rest of your army. As opposed to his previous iteration, I would say he's no longer auto-include. There is a lot more build variety and internal balance for the Lumineth Codex, Battle Tome, but he is still a really good pickup for all Lumineth Realm Lords armies. If you want to lean into the classic Lumineth castle build. Before we end out the video, I'd like to give thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys are fantastic, and I appreciate each and every one of you. An extra special thanks to Nick Hoff. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link in the description below, as well as a link to our Discord channel. Come and join the community over there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick update for Teclis and his wonderful cat. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment and consider subscribing. This has been the Wardrobe of Will. I'll talk to you guys next time.